as advisors, there are situations where we find that some of our clients do not have an adequate retirement corpus considering their level of expenses today. So I'm sure you would have also seen these kind of situations. So how do you tackle this kind of a situation as an advisor?
Yeah. So the major challenge what we face here is it's important for the client to accept the corpus is not sufficient. When people retire, the corpus is big. They have their goals, aspirations in picture. And when we talk to them, when we analyze everything and look at the goals, their requirement, we come to a place where the corpus is not sufficient. At that point of time, client is usually in a denial mode. They think it's possible, and later of the discussion when we go ahead, we are able to convince them, okay, the corpus is not sufficient. Then the actual process will start from there. The first target here from as an advisor is to talk to them and understand about their expenses. The expenses what they are targeting or their goals what they are having as of now has to be in alignment. It has to be brought into an alignment that this can be achieved or this cannot be achievable. This is the first level we have to identify and communicate to the client so that we both are on the same page overall. When expenses are taken care, the next steps is, as you are retiring in this whole journey, you have been working for 20 years, 30 years, whatever tenure can be. You have invested in multiple products overall. And it can be a scenario you have done certain blunders with what amount you are accumulating overall, and certain policies what you have taken that people have suggested and your point. It's important to check and also verify whether that has to be stopped. Because as the corpus is not sufficient, you have to stop the flow of money going out and also target how the money can come back in and help you manage your post-retirement fees.
Correct. I mean, both points are very valid points. There are certain other situations which I have seen during my practice. One of the things which we have seen in some cases is that people tend to be asset rich and cash poor. So a lot of people have more than one house, and they don't want to liquidate the house, and that sometimes is causing the stress. So, like you said, I mean, they will have to understand where they stand, and then they will have to be willing to make the appropriate changes to bring the cash in. Then, in lot of cases, actually, it works out. There are some cases where they don't have any other asset except for one house that they are living in. So, in these kind of situations, apart from you said, I mean, they have to rationalize the expense. So that is there. Apart from that, they can do one more thing. I mean, if there is no other option, they can consider moving to a smaller town. Suppose, for example, they are in Mumbai currently, and they have a home which probably is worth maybe 1.5 to 2 crores. They can consider liquidating such a home, and they can relocate to a smaller town of their choice, where they can actually buy a house and they can stay there comfortably, and they will still also be able to retain some cash which can be used for their expenses. There are other people also. I mean, when we plan these kind of things, when we actually say that you don't have money, retirement will not go well, you have to bring down the expenses, people panic. See, sometimes what also happens in real life is that many people have children who are willing to lend a helping hand. So that is also a possibility. Not that parents want that all the time, but I mean, we have to look at the reality. Parents have spent a lot of money on the children. The person who has been earning has been doing a lot for the family. So the children, at some point in time, if they are going to support the parents, I think it's not a bad thing. So I mean, so it's not the end of the world. Retirement corpus, if it is not sufficient as per our calculations, it is not the end of the world. There are multiple things which can actually happen, because of which things can still be made to work. One last point is that a lot of times as financial planners, we tend to take the expenses as maybe 20% lower, 15% lower. Sometimes the client says, my expenses will be at the same level. It will not go lower at all. See, I mean, when you put these kind of conditions, which probably does not match with the reality, then on paper it will probably not work. But in reality, as you go along, a lot of these things will work, because in reality, the expenses do come down over a period of time. So I think retirement is a problem. I mean, if you don't have sufficient corpus, but I think we are making that problem a lot more by the way we are approaching it.